Disclaimer, I am not a professional. My tips are my own opinion based on my experience within the last 2 years of homeschooling. Because of the current situation of our country, better yet our world, and recommendations from my husband and other family members, I decided to make this video in the hopes of helping any parents out there who are considering homeschooling their children. So in this video, I will try to condense my most important tips and advice about homeschooling since I started back in 2018. So grab a cup of your favorite drink, a notepad and a pen, and let's begin. Tip or advice number 1, you can start at any time. No matter what, you can start homeschooling right now. Well, maybe not right now, but let me explain. Let's say you just decided that you wanted to homeschool. Well, it's already September, so you're probably thinking it's too late. That's not true. The first thing you can do is decide how long it will take you to research, plan, and order all of your materials. This can range from 1 week to 3 weeks. It really depends on your situation. When you have that date, then you can contact your Board of Education and unenroll your children or child and begin immediately. Number 2, research. Once you've decided that you want to homeschool, the next step, in my opinion, is you have to start researching. There is this great website, which is hslda.org. That stands for Homeschool Legal Defense Association. This is a great starting point. Take your time to explore all of the information they have on there. They even have each state's homeschool laws, which is one of the first things you should research. These are located under the legal tab. Number 3, decide what curriculum you want to use. After you do your preliminary research, then you have to decide what curriculum you need and everything that goes with that. Now, this can get tricky because there are so many curriculum companies to pick from, and it can get very stressful, especially if you're that person who isn't good at choosing from a wide variety of options. And this is definitely me. No matter what, in the end, we all run the risk of buying something and then not liking it anyway. The truth is, even if you think you are buying the correct curriculum, it might not work for you or your children in the end. So stressing about it initially is not worth it. With that being said, you have to research what curriculum you want to buy. I will suggest some places where you can start. YouTube. Here on YouTube, there are some great channels. The first one is Homeschool On. Even though she doesn't make videos anymore, Rebecca made some great top 10 videos where she compares and shows you different curricula. For example, she has a video titled The Top 10 Homeschool Math Comparison Review, where she shows you 10 different math curricula and she talks a little bit about them. Even though this video isn't a full review of each curriculum, you can get a sense of what might work for you and your family. This video was definitely beneficial to me. It helped me narrow down my list and I was able to finally choose a math program and a language arts program for my children. By the way, she has since developed her own curriculum called Gather Around Homeschool. Go check it out and see if you like what she offers. I'll place the link in the description below. Another channel I viewed frequently and still do periodically is called Rooted in Rest. On this channel, Abby shares a lot of information about her homeschooling journey, including her curriculum choices, routines, and school supply hauls. The last time I tuned in, she was still very much into the Charlotte Mason style of education. You might hear that name a few times while researching for homeschooling curricula. For those of you who don't know, Charlotte Mason was born in 1842. She was a British educator who invested her life into improving the quality of children's education. Her teaching philosophy is still used today, and many people have adopted her techniques, ideas, and beliefs. Many companies have incorporated them into their curriculum, which coincidentally leads me into the third channel I would like to recommend. So this specific company called Simply Charlotte Mason has a website, a podcast, and a YouTube channel where you can obtain a plethora of information. They have a great video titled 5 Flavors of Homeschooling, in which they talk about the different types of homeschooling styles there are, and it will help you choose which one might work for you. I will link the video in the description below, along with all the other channels I mentioned. But that video in particular will help you decide what you want your teaching style to be. So I recommend checking it out. There are so many YouTube channels out there, so I suggest picking a few of them and sticking with that because you don't want to get overwhelmed. But remember, what works for them might not work for you. So being patient and taking your time will benefit you and your family in the long run. Remember, you will get better at it with time. In addition to the YouTube channels, there are many podcasts and books, so definitely do your research. But me personally, I chose YouTube as my main research platform. So after you do the research, then you must pick the curriculum. Based on the ages of your child or children, you need to decide what they will need. Now here's a tip. If you have multiple children around the same age, you will be better off doing some subjects within a group setting. It will be easier. Now, if your children are in different age groups, then it will get a little tricky. You will have to figure out how you will manage it. Your older children, therefore, will probably have to be a little bit more independent so that you can be free to help the younger children. This requires planning, and planning, as we all know, is very important. One thing you don't want is a chaotic atmosphere. Now, there are some companies like My Father's World, which has done all the work for you. Their lesson plans are open and go, and most importantly, you can incorporate different age groups. My Father's World is Christian-based, so if you are looking for a secular company, I don't know any, so you will have to do some research. The point is that it is possible to teach multiple children the same subjects at the same time, such as history, geography, art, music, science, etc. Here is a list of some curriculum companies that I have used in my 2.5 years of homeschooling. Number 1, for language arts, I have Moving Beyond the Page and Masterbooks. For math, Saxon, Masterbooks, and Teaching Textbooks. For science, Apologia and Masterbooks. For history and geography, Simply Charlotte Mason, Masterbooks, and The Mystery of History. For Bible, Simply Charlotte Mason, and a devotional called More Than Words, sold through Masterbooks. For art, Simply Charlotte Mason, Living Art Lessons. For Masterbooks, Yellow Spot Sun. For writing and grammar, IEW's Structure and Style, and Fix It Grammar, which is also by IEW. I can name many more, and there are so many companies out there that offer great products, so do your research. If you have any questions for me about other subjects and what I've used or am using right now, please comment below or email me. I will be more than happy to share that information with you. So tip or advice number 4 is determine your budget. After you've researched and picked your curriculum, then you need to make sure that you have the budget for it. There is nothing wrong with having a budget. And there is also nothing wrong with not being able to purchase everything that you want. Some things might have to wait until the following year. The best option if you have a tight budget is to buy used curricula through different platforms such as homeschooling groups on Facebook, eBay, or just other homeschooling families within your church or community. This is why it is important to plan ahead of time. Another piece of advice is that if you do purchase something and you don't like it or it didn't work out for you, then you can go ahead and resell it. Another way to save money, specifically with certain workbooks, is to scan them at the library using the big copier machines they have. I save them onto a thumb drive, transfer them onto my computer, and then I can make copies for all my children instead of buying multiple copies of the actual workbook itself. The only downside to this is that you have to debind the workbook itself so that you can scan it. Also, reselling a workbook that has already been taken apart might not sell, but you never know. You can still probably find a buyer who is willing to buy it from you. But doing this has saved me money over the last 2 years. Another thing I've done, if it's possible, is to purchase the PDF version of the workbook. Some companies, like Masterbooks, will sell the PDF version at a slightly lower price. This is a great option because you can skip the debinding and scanning, which can be time consuming. Also, once you purchase it, it's immediately available to download, so you don't have to wait for it to come in the mail. However, I only purchase PDFs if the workbook is in black and white. If the workbooks or books have color in them, I prefer to buy the original because I want my kids to enjoy the colors within the book, and printing in color is very expensive, as we all know. Number 5, plan. The next piece of advice is to take time to plan. In everything we do in life, whether it's work related or not, planning plays a major role. No one said homeschooling was going to be easy, so you will have to dedicate time to it. You will have to reevaluate your life and do things differently around the house so that you can fit homeschooling into it. For example, Nowadays, I cannot dedicate the same amount of time to cleaning as I used to. My house isn't dirty or anything like that, but sometimes those deep cleaning sessions have been postponed until a later time. If your family is blessed financially, maybe you can hire a cleaning service once a month. Your priorities must change, or else you will be stressed out over these minuscule things. It's okay if you don't fold your laundry right away that one time, or that your baseboard is a little dusty. Also, your children, if they're old enough, can now help you more around the house so that you have more free time to plan. Number 6. Things will get better. After you've done all of your planning, then you will see that it does get better and things will fall into place. But remember, you aren't perfect and neither are your children. So try to take it easy and don't beat yourself up over not completing this or that. Let's be honest. Most of us don't remember most of the things we were taught in school. In my opinion, I repeat, in my opinion, as long as you and your children are trying their best and they know how to read, write, do math, think critically and logically, then they will be wonderful assets to society. Number 7, have fun. Guys, let's be real. You need to have fun, get creative, take your time, and do your best. Well, I won't take credit for those last phrases. I got them from a poster I have hanging up in my dining room. But all jokes aside, we must strive to do these things. But we must try. Remember, I know it's hard because life gets in the way. The most important thing is to keep our eyes on our Creator, and that there is no one better to teach our children than their own mothers. If you're interested in knowing what I did last year, check out this video. Although some things have changed this school year, I'm confident that there is some useful information in that video for you to utilize. And for those of you who aren't interested in that video and you need a good laugh, check out this other video, which is a compilation of my husband scaring me. I hope you like it. God bless you all, and I'll see you in the next one.